Welcome to topic 7 of managing a web server. In this topic, we're looking at PHP and MySQLi or MySQLi. So PHP, the PHP stands for Pre-Hypertext Processor. This little logo up here for PHP, all right, is sometimes called the elephant. And it's written like that, okay? Elephant, okay? Now, PHP originally stood for a personal homepage, okay? And it was developed in the 90s. And the main difference between PHP and HTML is that HTML describes the layout of pages and it's interpreted by the browser, but PHP is interpreted on the server. Hence the name pre-hypertext or hypertext pre-processor. So it's processed before it reaches the client. So PHP code may be executed within a command line. So, I mean, we could use PHP as a calculator, just like we could use Python. In fact, most of the things, if not all of the things, with a little bit of hacking that we've done in the software development class, with Python, we could easily do with PHP. However, that's just because you can do something. It doesn't mean that that's the main purpose of PHP. So PHP is sometimes described as a glue language because it allows you to join a web page and a server or database together. So a database alone doesn't have the functionality to talk to a web page, and a web page alone, well, maybe could get into a database, but I don't know if it would be secure or how well it would work. So PHP code is processed by a PHP interpreter implemented as a module in a web server. The web server outputs the result of the interpreted and executed PHP code, which may be any type, such as generated HTML, image data, and PHP can be used for many programming tasks. So, for example, when you go to Wikipedia, Wikipedia is created using PHP. Facebook is created using PHP. Okay, so your Facebook feed, as you scroll through it, that's all done with PHP. Okay. So just a little bit of history. Version 1, called Personal Homepage, was around in the 90s. So was version 2. Version 3, with multiple developers from 1998. And version 4 was the biggest version. So PHP 5 was around quite recently. Up until quite recently, we used PHP 5 on this course. But nowadays, we use PHP 7. Okay, so PHP 5 had a lot of new improved features for performance. PHP 6 was designed to add a thing called Unicode support. PHP 6 was abandoned, and PHP 7 is what we use today. So PHP 7 apparently has a 100% increase in performance compared to PHP 5. All right. PHP, as of July 2014, WordPress is showing that PHP 7 is 100% faster than PHP 5. All right, so PHP 7 is what we use now. Right, MySQLi. So the MySQLi extension, or MySQL Improved, is a relational database driver used in PHP to provide an interface from PHP to a MySQL database. Okay, the PHP code consists of a core with optimal extensions, and PHP's MySQL related extensions such as the MySQLi extension and the MySQL extension are implemented using the PHP extension framework. Try and say that really fast. So An extension typically exposes an API to the PHP developer, and MySQL I is an improved version of the older PHP MySQL driver. It does sound like quite a lot of jargon, but just hold on, we're going to piece this together now, what this actually means. So here is an example of MySQL I. This shows how to make a connection to a database called MyDB. So we know from previous labs how to make a database, create database, MyDB. Okay, then we can add tables. Now, what we actually do with PHP, okay, this little tag up here, the question mark PHP, just tells the interpreter that we're about to write PHP. Okay, so these are just variables. So the server name will be localhost. Okay, we could put an IP address in here, but that'll be local. Username will be username. Password will be password. And DB name will be MyDB. Okay, so we could easily determine a host name. We could easily set up a database username and password with knowledge from previous labs. And we could easily give a database a name using the command in MariaDB database. The next step, 2 slashes like that is a comment in PHP. Okay, so this will get ignored. Then we have a variable called connection. Okay, and the connection is a new MySQLi, and then we have these variables passed in as parameters. And then we have a little if statement to check if there's an error, and if it does, it echoes out connection failed. Okay, so here is MySQLi in action, and I'll just zoom this in so you can see. So we have some web page, all right, where we have like the boilerplate HTML code here just to start off an HTML5 page. Then we open PHP and we define the variables I talked about. Then we have the create connection and also a test here, okay. Then we are creating a variable and we're running an SQL command, select first name, last name from my guests. So once we are connected to the database, we can run SQL queries here, and these will be echoed back, all right, in this value here, this result. Now, what does this look like when it actually runs? Well, it runs and it gives us back something like this, okay? An ID, a name, and if I just try and kind of zoom back a wee bit, what we have, right, is we have select ID, here's ID coming out, all right, with the value of ID, okay? Echo ID, and there's the value there. Then we have name, all right, and here is first name, and here's name being printed out down here, and here's the row, all right, and here's the element being selected, okay, and I'll not repeat it again for second name, but it's the same idea for last name here, okay. So that's how we connect to a database using PHP. Now, here's a example, okay, PHP, MySQL, a login. How do we put this together to build a login system? Okay, so first of all, we need some files, all right? Won't work without any files. That's a given. The first file we need is index.html, okay? And this is just a simple HTML page. Okay, hopefully by this point in the course, you wouldn't be worried about copying and pasting an index.html file into some place. Styles.css is just some style formatting for this. So those two are fairly straightforward. Now, these PHP files we don't have to worry about, okay? I'm going to give you these PHP files. So just accept that logout logs you out of a website. Home is where you're redirected to after you log in, and profile is to do with your actual account in the database. The only thing we care about for this course is config.php, okay? Now, because obviously we're studying networking and cybersecurity, we don't talk about config.php. However, I sit beside people who teach web development and programming, and they talk about config.php all the time. So let's just clear this up once and for all, okay? Sometimes it's called server.php, but very often config.php is a very important file. Now, let's have a look at what config.php looks like up here. This is roughly what's in config.php, these things here. And what you're doing with config.php is you're telling the server name, the username, the password, and the database name for PHP to log into. That's it. That's all it is. Okay. Right. So there's an example of an index page, head, body, and some form, some HTML form that we've created. Okay, form action is going to be authenticate.php, method post. Okay, so this, when we put this into our editor, save it and open it in the browser, it looks like this. Okay, there's some couple of input boxes. So if you were to take this, save it in a text editor as index.html, open it in your browser, it would look like that. Okay, so next step, let's add on some styles. Okay, let's say the body's background color will be this. The login will be this wide. Some colors, some shadow, some margins. Heading 1 will look like this. The form will look like this. Okay, so once we add that, and then in our login, our index, we put a link. Okay, link to styles.css. When we run those together, it looks like this. Okay, so this is great. This looks like something, a web app or something, but at the moment, this won't work. Okay, all this will do is you'll click that, you'll click login, and nothing will happen. Wonderful. Next, we need to go into our MariaDB server and create a database called PHP login. Then we use the database, PHP login. So we go in and then we create a table, okay, called accounts. And inside the table, we add the following fields. Okay, we want ID. Okay, that'll auto increment. It's not allowed to be blank. Username will be variable characters. Okay, 50. This is the schema of this database. Password the same, not allowed to be blank. And then email up to 100 characters. The primary key will be this auto incremented ID. All right. Don't worry about this too much. This is an insert into accounts. We're going to insert a value of 1, a username of test, a hashed password, and an email, test@test.com. Okay, so this should insert a user called test into this database PHP login that we've created with the following fields. Now, once we've created a user in the database, we then need to go to PHP and tell PHP how to log in and get that username out. Okay, what's the host name? What's the username for the database? Okay, what's the password to get into the database? And what's the name of the database? Right, and then just some exception handling here. If there's a problem, it'll echo out, sorry, can't connect, something like that. Now, a little bit more config.php. This is more SQL handling. And also we need to prevent a possible SQL injection. So there are some exception handling here to prevent people trying to inject particular queries into our database so that the database is fooled into giving us more information back than we need. Okay, now a little bit more. This is to do with hashing passwords and stuff. Again, don't worry about understanding all of this. Just try and grab the overall concept. I will give you this code. Okay, so when we log in, all right, when this has been implemented and it's connected to the database, okay, this, we log in with test, Mr. Test's password, it will look like that. We're in, homepage, welcome back, Mr. Test. All right. So that is how we create a simple PHP login system. Now, one thing to understand is, okay, let me find the right bit in, so please fill in the username and password, prepare our SQL, bind parameters, store the result, okay, then we do if number of rows is greater than 0, fetch account exists. Right, so the thing to think of here is when you have a username and a password inside a database, okay, your website doesn't go and say to the database, hi, I've got so-and-so username and so-and-so password. I'll send them over to you, and can you just see if they exist in your database or not? Okay. What happens is you send the username and password to the database, and the database just replies with a yes or a no, and that's how you let the person into the website. So in the lab today, all right, we're going to put this into practice. So first thing we're going to do is run MariaDB here. We're going to set up a database, okay? MariaDB -u root -p. That just logs you in. Then we're going to grant all permissions to a user called the admin user, identified by the admin password with grant option. Then we're going to create a database called the staff website database and grant privileges to the admin user of this database. Flush privileges and exit. After you've done that, that's all the database set up. Nothing else is required. Okay. Next, we're going to create a table called users inside the staff database. Then we can just type exit to leave, okay? Next, on the middle, I will provide you with a zip file of 5 or 6 files called PHP files for login system. You need to download those onto your local machine. Once you've downloaded those and put them in the web root, the www directory, you must only edit one file, and that file is config.php. Okay? What do you put in config.php? You need to tell it. Localhost should be fine, but you need to tell it, right? Admin user, admin password, staff website DB. Those 3 things there must reflect what's created up here. The things I've put in red, okay, admin user, admin password, they must match what's in config.php. Okay. Then we run chmod on things. Then we create a user. So we go use staff website DB, and we select star from users, and then we're finished. Okay, so it really is as simple as that. I can demonstrate this just now, although I haven't installed MariaDB, so I'm just going to jump back up to, let's see, LAMP server, and just grab the commands for installing MariaDB, because otherwise I'll mess it up. So here we go. So apt install MariaDB server -y is the command we want. Let me just head over. So you might already have MariaDB installed on your machine, so you won't need to do this, but this is a new server I've got here. So, okay. That's just a test script that I created for something else. Right. So let's do apt install MariaDB server. Now, just in advance, the audio might glitch a little bit on the video while this is downloading. Okay, once we've installed MariaDB server, we have to run the MySQL secure installation script. So let's just run this. Okay, now it's important that we press enter here. We'll leave this blank. Okay, set root password. Okay, as you will type in and press enter. So in, then remove anonymous users. Apparently, after that, we can just accept everything else. Okay, so let's just do yeah. Cool. Right, so we have MariaDB installed, so we can jump back to lab 7 now. Okay, so let's set up a database. So let's log into MariaDB, and why don't I try and get these running side by side so I don't have to. Let's try and get this running slightly better view. Okay, let's zoom this out a wee bit. Okay, so let's do MariaDB -u -v. Okay, and because we didn't set a password, we're able to get in straight away. Right, let's grant all permissions to this new user called admin user. Okay, query OK. Let's create a database called staff website DB. Query OK. One row affected. Let's grant privileges on the staff website DB. OK. Finally, flush privileges and exit. Okay. Right. Okay. So I'll let you try this bit out yourself. This connecting to the database. In fact, let me just do it now. Okay, so let's do show grants. Okay, so at the moment, the grants for the root user, we have privileges on everything. Okay, so let's do. Okay, now is that what I wanted? That is not what I wanted. I want to log in as the admin user. So let's exit. Okay, let's take this up to the top of the screen. Okay, MariaDB -user admin user -p. Okay, now it's asking me for a password, and the password should be this admin_password. Okay, probably typed that in wrong. Right, we're in. Now if I do show grants, okay, grants for admin user. So you can see I've got grant all privileges, but only on the staff website, all right, not on everything. Now, let's use that staff website database. And you'll notice that the prompt changes here. Okay, we're now inside the database. And let's create a table called users inside this database. So just easy enough to paste that in. There we go. We're done. Okay, let's exit. Okay, so that should be our file set up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to download from the Moodle the PHP files for the login system. Okay, and I'm going to save these in my pictures directory. Okay, now what I need to now do is move those. So I don't have a graphical environment on this server, it's only command line. So I need to move those files from here into here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is open a new tab and do. So the IP address of this machine is 192.168.100.6. So I'm going to do scp Michael at 192.168.100.6, and I'm going to put the path home Michael pictures. Okay, then I'm going to copy this name php login files.zip. PHP login file. So scp secure copy, SSH and copy, login as this user, this path. The only thing I've made a mistake is I need to put a slash there. Okay, and I want to copy it to the current directory. And the way you do that is with a wee dot just here. Okay, so it's asking me to accept, put in my password. No such file or directory. Ah, that's easy to fix. Look, I've not put a slash between Michael and pictures. So let's pop that in there. Pop the password in. Now, if I type ls, we can see I've copied the PHP login files to the local machine. So let's CP these now. Well, first of all, let's install Apache. So apt install Apache 2. Let's get Apache installed. While that's installing, let's go back and look at what the next step is here. So we have to move these to some directory. Okay, so okay, so it's just telling me that I need to run apt update here. Just run apt update. Hopefully it's not too big an update. It doesn't glitch the audio quality on this video. Okay, so hopefully in a couple of seconds, Apache will be installed. All right, clear. So let's do systemctl status Apache 2. Apache 2 service could not be found. That's interesting. Systemctl start Apache 2. Okay, let me try and install it again. Apt install Apache 2. Okay, I think it's doing it now. Good. Okay, so let's do systemctl status Apache 2. Good, it's running. Great. So now I'm going to make a directory, right, to copy these into. So let's cd to /var html. Okay. So in there we've got the default index page setting. Let's make a directory called staff. Okay, and let's cp these files here. So cp / let me just where are those files actually? Good point. cd /home Michael. Okay, cd / there they are there. Okay, so let's cp /php login files to /var html staff. Okay, so if we cd to this place now, we should have our staff files in that directory. And there they are. So now we need to just unzip them. Unzip PHP login files. Okay, unzip command not found. Apt install unzip, I think. There we go. Just need to install some libraries so I can zip things. Right. So now let's do unzip. Right. Okay. So now we've got a set of files in here. Okay. Welcome.php, login.php, register.php, logout.php. Now, what we need to do, is we need to edit config.php to reflect the database that we've set up earlier with MariaDB. So let's edit config.php. Okay. And let's go to leave the server as localhost, but the root, the username, all right, should be admin user. Password, I think, was admin password. Okay, and the database was not demo, it was staff website DB. I'll just double check that DB. I'll just double check that up here. Yeah, staff website DB. Oh, was the password my password or was it? No, it's admin password. Okay, so that's all good. That's saved. All right. Now, the last thing we need to do, is set this site up. Give it a virtual host directive. Okay, so I think that's something that I should leave you to do. I've given you the pieces now, okay? So let me just go to 192.168.100.2, which is where this 100.2, no, we don't want the Splunk server. Yeah, so we've got this default page here. So if I do /staff, okay, at the moment, all right, if I click on config.php, look, it's loading up as text, right? The reason for that is because I don't have PHP installed. So I need to go back to the LAMP server lab, all right, and get the steps to install PHP. Now, I believe it's not a particularly difficult setup. We just install this bit. Let's just see if I can do it quickly. And then we need to edit the dir config file to make PHP be a priority. Might not even need to do that. Just hold on. PHP is just downloading just now. PHP 7.3. You can probably see if it's flying past on the screen. Let's just see what happens now that we've got PHP installed. Back to staff. Okay, staff. Log in. Ha! What's this? What's this? Okay, so let's sign up for an account. So username is going to be Michael, right? Password will be Michael123. Password will be Michael123. That's also the password for my online banking. Haha, only joking. Right, so submit. Okay, now we should be able to log in with Michael, password Michael123. Let's get brave to save that. All right, let's log in. Log in, look. Hi, Michael. Welcome to our site. Now, just to prove the final operations of this, okay, let me log into MariaDB. All right, somewhere up here we've got MariaDB. Here we go. Admin user -p. Okay, let's log in, and let's log in with admin password. Of course, I typed it in wrong. Admin password. Right, we're in. Now we do use staff website DB. Okay, and now we're using the staff website DB. Now, there should be a command where we can show all the entries in the staff website DB. And there's a table called users we created, and we can select all from users by doing this command. All right, and look, there's the Michael user there, and there's the hashed password. Okay, PHP's hashing the password. There's the created at time, 14:45. Okay, 1 minute ago. So hopefully that's enough of an explanation of a PHP login system, and you're able to go and put that into practice.